So, by learning this 3D effect, you unlock a skill that most editors don't have. I'm going to take you through 3 levels of the basic 3D effect. Once you reach level 3, you're going to become an unstoppable video editor. And without much further ado, let's get started with the video. Level 1, creating a beautiful transition loop. So I'm going to be using these logo icons to create this transition loop, and you can use any icon that you want. So first I'm going to select these, and the things you should keep in mind is all of the layers here have to be the same length. I'm going to go under the effects panel and I will search the basic 3D effect, double click to add it, then I'll add in the Gaussian blur. Under the effect controls, I'll make sure that my playhead is at the very start of the layer, then I'll set the first keyframe for the swivel, move some frames ahead, and set in the second keyframe, and I'll keep doing it to the end. At this very first keyframe, I'm going to set this to -90, then move to the end and set this to 90. Next, I'm going to set the keyframes for the Gaussian blur. I'm going to set the keyframes following these swivel keyframes here. And at the first keyframe, I'm going to set this to 100. And the last keyframe, I'm going to set it to 100. To make this animation to be better, I'm going to ease them out. So I'll select this second keyframe, open this up, then bring this downward like around here, select this and do the same with this other side. So I have a curve like this. Next, I'm going to open up the Gaussian blur and do the same thing. Select this keyframe, bring this upward around here, and same thing with this other side. Select this keyframe, then bring this one below. And what you should be looking at is this curve which comes like so and goes back up. After adding all the keyframes, I'm going to select the layer, press Command C, that's on Mac, or Ctrl C on Windows to copy it. Select these other logos, press Ctrl Option and V. And you should uncheck motion. That's if you don't want to use the same sizes for all of them. And this effect box should be selected with the basic 3D and Gaussian blur in it, and hit on OK. And you're going to have this beautiful 3D transition loop. Level 2, we have dynamic screen recording. So for this, I had to screenshot my timeline, then crop it. Just have an image similar to this size and should be at the center of your program monitor. Then what we are going to do is first we add in the basic 3D effect. So I'm going to move at the start of this layer, set in the first keyframe for the position, and then we have the keyframes for the swivel, and this time around we're going to use a tilt property. Then move, let's say, around here towards the end and set in the second set of keyframes. So back to the first keyframe. I'm not going to animate anything just yet, but what I'm going to do is first I'm going to increase this size like about 2 times the size depending on the image you're using. So I think this size is okay. Then move down to the swivel, and for the swivel I'm just going to play around with this. Let's say around let me say 23, -23 will be okay. Then I'm going to tilt this around to like, let's say 8. I think this is okay. Move to the end. For the swivel I'm going to increase this, let's say around here, let me just say 39. And for the tilt I'm going to set this to -8, the opposite of the first keyframe. Now going back to the position, I'm going to just move this a little bit like so that I have some movement from the first keyframe to the second keyframe. And for the first keyframe I'm going to move it the opposite direction around here, so that we are going to have some movement from here to the second keyframe. I'm going to ease these keyframes to have a better animation. Selecting the first keyframe, I'm just going to move the handles around here. Same thing with the other keyframes. Then I can increase the length of this image just to have a better animation from here to here. Level 3, the 3D hologram. First, I'm going to add in a clip of me holding my hand out. So you can use either a stock footage or you can create a footage like this on your own. Next, I'm going to add in the logo that I'll be using. And I'm going to just crop this out. I'll select the logo, go under the effect controls, then under the blend mode, I'm going to change this to linear dodge add. Then I'm going to reposition this so it fits perfectly the way I want. So I think somewhere around here is, I'm going to track this, and to track this I'll reduce the opacity down all to 0, then click on motion, so that I'm going to have this box here. Click on this center and position it at this finger. I think it's good to track the image using this finger right here. I'll go to the very start of this layer, selecting the image. I'm going to set the first keyframe for the position. And one thing, when you move ahead, you need to click on the motion so that it will be selected, and then you can move the image around here, and that will set the second keyframe. So I'm going to do it to the end of the clip. So after setting up the keyframes, you can increase the opacity back to 100. We are going to add in the basic 3D effect again to this. Now for this, I'm going to move to the start. Same thing, set the first keyframe for the swivel and move to the end. And this time around, I'm going to give this like 1 times. So it will have a 360 degrees rotation like so. And if you look carefully, it's following the movement of my hand. So the next thing we have to do is to send this logo behind these two fingers and even this other finger right here. And there are two ways in which you can do this. You can either select this clip below, holding down the option key or the alt key. You can bring this upward, then select this gear, then you can mask out the fingers. But I think this will take a lot of time and it won't give you an accurate result because you need to track it, and Premiere Pro is not good with that. After Effects is the best when it comes to masking out parts of your videos. But first, we need to select these two layers, right click, and then we go to replace with After Effects composition. In After Effects, I'm going to double click on the clip to open it on this window. Then hold down the option key and press W to activate the rotoscope brush, or that's the Alt and W key. Next, I'm going to carefully select my fingers. And I think this is okay, and I'll hit on the freeze key. So I'm going to click on this composition tutorial link, then press Command Z to duplicate this, or Control Z. Bring this here. So I have this logo in between. Select this layer here, press E to see all the effects, and then we have to delete this roto brush and refine edge. So we have the full animation like this, and you can see the logo is now behind the fingers. And what you can do to improve the selection is you can select this right here, the clip at the top. Then you can increase the feather, the contrast, the shift edge, and the reduce shutter. Just play around with these to have the perfect result. And that's how you can create the 3D hologram using the basic 3D effect. And that's it for today's video. Hope you found the video useful and interesting. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video to support the channel grow. Thanks for watching, and until the next one, keep editing.